I want to remind you that, and I know a lot of you already know, that our battle is a spiritual battle. It's a warfare between good and evil. And evil is trying to win. Good is trying to win. And good will defeat evil if you were to take over your life, be responsible, think for yourself, and stop letting others think for you. These people who are telling you all this madness are insane. They passed a marijuana law in Illinois where you can now buy marijuana or something like that, and it's legal, right? You got hundreds and hundreds of people lined up to buy pot because they told you that it's okay. And they're making money off of you. And pot lower your consciousness. It's not normal to be on pot. And yet you line up and buy it because the people, the liars, the deceivers who are using you for their own personal gain tell you that it's okay. Oh, it's okay to smoke pot. So line up and get it. And they are making millions of dollars off you while you're walking around a pothead, not being productive in life. Not being productive in life while they're using you. It's crazy. It reminds me of the Christians who go to church and listen to the preacher interpret the Bible that tells you, the preacher tell you, oh, God came to save, or Christ came to save you from sin. Oh, but you can't help but sin. No such thing as being sin. And you go, yeah, that's right. And you're suffering because you believed a lie from the preacher. It's mind-blowing. It really is. It's mind-blowing. You got to take back your lives, folks. You got to be responsible for yourself. When I was growing up, we were responsible for our own lives. No government, no so-called political leader, no preacher, no expert, no degree person. Degree people are stupid. Can't you see they have no answers to anything? They're just riding on an ego that says they have a piece of paper. And you believe them. Absolutely believe them. It's mind-blowing. Here's an example. This is from the Sun. Finland introduces a 4-day work week and a 6-hour work day. This is dumb. This is evil. It was introduced by a woman. The world's youngest prime minister is introducing a massive reform that will make the work week get shorter. Men know that this doesn't make any sense, right? But men are not in control of being men anymore. And so they follow whatever the woman says. And they're suffering for it, believe me. The men are suffering because they're listening to women. They're literally suffering. They're listening to mama and all the other women outside the home, including their girlfriends, their live-in women, their wives, and they're suffering. This woman said, what's her name? Sanna Marin said, it is important to allow citizens to work less. That's mama. That's government. That's spoiling you so that they can take control of you. And I'm being told that this woman is a good friend. She's good friends with New Zealand Prime Minister, another woman. It's crazy. And why are you voting all these women in like this? This woman, dumb, mama. It is not a question of govern with a feminine style, but just offering people help. That's feminine, that's mama. And that's not good for a society. And here's a guy by the name of Andrew Barnes who started this whole thing back in 2015. He created the 4-day work week, and he defended it back in 2015.
Andrew Barnes, founder of the New Zealand firm Perpetual Guardian and champion of the 4-day week. Andrew, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
How is this experiment going for you?
It's going very well. I mean, we made it permanent last year, and essentially what we do is we pay our people 100% of their salary, provided they give us 100% productivity, but they only have to work 80% of the hours. So they enjoy it, and we're finding great productivity out of it. So what we're doing is saying change that behavior.
This
and
is
if
a
you
mama's
change
boy.
that behavior, you'll get better productivity, and with the better productivity, you can give people a day off.
Isn't that amazing? Amazing. This is not the way a man thinks. Liberals want you to believe that you can work less and deserve to be paid the same. Tell me this is not weak, beta. Beta. But the men listen to it. I can't tell you the number of men that I have counseled with and heard about and seen to have gone to women for counseling. Who convinced them that that was okay? And the women give them all the wrong advice. Because they hate men, right? And they're giving the men things that advice that destroys them and doesn't build them up. It turns them into, more so into a woman. But they go to a female counselor. Amazing. Well, apparently someone forgot to tell the liberal media that the 4-day work week somehow increases productivity. Here's that.
Some companies are testing a 4-day work week to see if it makes employees more productive.
It's about what are you trying to optimize? Are you
What's
trying
happening?
to make more money?
It has no sound? All right, we'll come back to it. That has no sound, so we'll come back to it, all right? So I want to know from you, do you think it makes people more productive or not to have shorter work days and pay them the same? I really, what do you think about it? Think for yourself. Men need, this is why I say that we got to rebuild the family by rebuilding the man, because when you, these women having these children out of wedlock and divorcing and the kids are going with the mother, this is screwing up everything. I want you to hear what the great white hope, Donald Trump, had to say about work ethics. Here we go.
What did you learn from your father?
Well, he loved to work, and he was happy. He was a happy man. He wasn't, one of these guys, and I know many of them, and you know many of them, they're in their psychiatrist every day. I say, what do you do? My father was a worker, and he loved to work. He'd work on Saturdays. He'd work on Sundays. He just liked it. He'd go to church, but after church, he'd go and work. He'd go check a building that he was putting up in Brooklyn. He was mostly in Brooklyn and Queens, and he just loved it. And I think more than anything else, not because of what he taught me lots of different things, but I watched him be a happy man and work until he was like literally 93. He was 93 years old when he died.
Amazing, right? That's how it was when I was growing up. My father, stepfather, grandfather and uncles and others who are older than me, they love work. They had no problem getting up, going to work. Men were created to work. It's in their nature. But you listen to mama, you're going to lose that. You'll be soft and weak and pathetic. They'll set you up to become that way, and then they'll hate you for it. It's amazing. You got to overcome it. Return to the fathers. Let me hear Donald Trump again. It's so good. It's so nice. I think I'll play it twice.
What did you learn from your father?
Well, he loved to work, and he was happy. He was a happy man. He wasn't, one of these guys, and I know many of them, and you know many of them, they're in their psychiatrist every day. I say, what do you do? My father was a worker, and he loved to work. He'd work on Saturdays. He'd work on Sundays. He just liked it. He'd go to church, but after church, he'd go and work. He'd go check a building that he was putting up in Brooklyn. He was mostly in Brooklyn and Queens, and he just loved it. And I think more than anything else, not because of what he taught me lots of different things, but I watched him be a happy man and work until he was like literally 93. He was 93 years old when he died.
Old school, the real school. I admire men who love to work. I admire women when they get married, start having children. They love being home, raising the children, watching over the household, and reporting to the father when he gets home. That's the order of things. I noticed one thing about Joel, he black. And black people are about work. He loves to work, Joel does. He worked on his car. I remember the building cleaning person had to leave. So I was looking for someone. Joel was like, I'll do it. And he did it with a smile. And he black. Well, 30% white. Were you raised to work?
No, not.
How did you develop and then running your own business and working here and working on cars? How did you develop a work ethic?
I realized that when I was back at home beta, when I was living at home past 18 beta, that I was like, why am I not doing nothing? And it clicked for me that I was lazy.
Yeah.
I was so lazy. And my parents weren't teaching me how to not be lazy.
Right.
But it clicked for me that, I have to do it even if I don't feel like it. So then I was doing that even though I didn't feel like it. And eventually it just became a discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, it's not
amazing.
It's not like a burden like it used to be.
Well, when you get married, your family is fortunate to be married a man that love work.
Amazing.
That way the wife and the mother doesn't have to worry about that.
Right.
And hopefully while you're at work, the wife don't be telling the children, oh, your daddy always at work. He always working.
While the bills are paid.
Yeah, making them think you at work and you don't love them. Amazing.
What a mess.
But I don't think your wife's going to do that.
Right.
Because God's going to give you the right one.
Right.
Amazing.
She better not.
But men, you're supposed to love work. Don't listen to these stupid things. And I remember up until the civil rights movement, black people, the men and the women, loved work. They did. I hadn't heard of all this mess about let the government take care of you. The men don't have to work. There's something called general relief, and I discovered that once I moved to LA, that if the men don't want to work, they can go down to the welfare office and get general relief, mean money, and don't have to work. Isn't that amazing? And they fell for it.